Hiccup and Astrid from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise have got to be one of the most iconic DreamWorks couples of all time, right? Right behind Shrek and Fiona, who are probably the top spot, but they have to firmly sit in that second place. I mean, they're surely more iconic than Gloria and Melman. I was originally going to say that they were amongst the most iconic couples in all of animation history, then I quickly remembered all the iconic couples of the Disney Renaissance era, and even some Pixar stuff, and suddenly I thought, well, that would be a stupid thing to say, wouldn't it? When you're up against classics like Nala and Simba, Belle and Beast, Jasmine and Aladdin, just to name a few, you have no real chance of taking home the popularity contest. That being said though, when you narrow down the parameters massively to just include DreamWorks films, well, then the field massively opens up, doesn't it? Funny how that works. So yes, a massively iconic couple/ship, and one that I think is very popular all things considered. I've always found it to be a very well-paced and well-written love story, and I assumed that was the consensus opinion of the fandom at large. I thought that was the case at least. But recently I was scrolling along Reddit, and I found a post asking people's opinions on Hiccup and Astrid as a couple. I can't remember exactly what it said, and I've tried looking for it again to no avail. Regardless, it was along the lines of people's criticisms for the Hiccup and Astrid ship overall, and whether they really made sense as a couple. Now, I'm not saying the post was immensely popular or that everybody started coming out of the woodwork saying they hated them as a ship and my world was turned upside down. It's still a pretty fringe opinion to begin with. But at the same time, it did kind of shock me the amount of criticism it had. There were suggestions that the romance itself was somewhat toxic, or that in general, it was badly handled and not well written. So I wanted to take a look into it and see if that was really the case, or whether I just have my nostalgia goggles firmly in place, which doesn't let me be objective about what's playing out on screen. First, I suppose we'd better introduce the ship properly, right? Hiccup and Astrid is a romance that in my eyes felt like the end game from the very first scene you see them in. In the first film, Hiccup, the 15-year-old son of the Chief of Berk, Stoic the Vast, is widely considered to be a massive weakling and a wimp. He has a very troubled relationship with his dad, who's clearly disappointed to have a son that's a bit different. Stoic himself is a full-on heroic dragon hunter. Hiccup is a weedy blacksmith's apprentice with his head in the clouds, who lacks the conviction and strength to be a true warrior. Because of that, Hiccup's a bit of an outcast in Viking society overall. He doesn't really have any friends except for his employer Gobber, and he's mocked and scorned by all. Shit life. His dad enrolls him in dragon fighting school, and he learns the ways of dragons through his secret interactions with Toothless, which draws the attention of Astrid, who eventually becomes the first member of the village to accept him for who he is, and befriends him properly. They go for a dragon flight, and it's all very cute. When it all goes to shit later on, Astrid's the one that gives Hiccup the pep talk he needs, and helps him realize that his compassion was not weakness, and that everybody else was wrong about him. Then after the big finale where Hiccup's badly injured, she gives him a kiss. Actually, I think that's their second kiss by that point, right? That's just the first film alone. The second and third film are also filled with a heap of romance, like actual romantic romance too. The ship doesn't go through artificial toxic bullshit where they break up for forced plot reasons. So the writers don't have to think about how their couple dynamic should be playing out. It just has a nice progression, which is well paced. Nothing's rushed, but it also doesn't feel slow or bogged down like it's spinning its wheels. All's going well till they get married in the epilogue of the third film and go on to have a bunch of kids. How nice. I've always found this to be a very sweet story. From a crush on the cool chick to a stable and wholesome courtship and then a marriage. It's not often you get to see that sort of thing play out on screen. Think of Shrek and Fiona's whole dynamic and storyline throughout pretty much every film in the franchise, always filled with drama and angst. Lots of fights, being separated for much of the film, only to come back together at the end of it. Astrid and Hiccup are not like that. They don't really have the insane explosive fights that make you wonder why these characters are even together in the first place, or if they even actually care about one another. They can bicker and banter, but there is always this undercurrent of affection and respect. In a world where writers are always hesitant to portray stable relationships, I liked this one a lot. It was a nice change of pace from the usual fare that you get served up on the big screen. So you can imagine my surprise when folks started coming for Hickstrid. I really hate that ship name, not gonna lie. I'm certainly not alone in this sentiment, as I'm pretty sure in the Reddit post I mentioned that was the most popular critique raised. The amalgamate name. Pretty valid to be honest. It just sounds stupid and makes me feel embarrassed when I say it, hear it, or read it. Anything besides Hiccup that starts with the word hick just sounds like it's supposed to be some sort of insult. Like we're all pointing and laughing at some hayseed wearing overalls with a floppy straw hat. It certainly does not sound like a romantic shipping name that a fandom would be using unironically, but I digress. Regardless, as I said before, it's true. There is a small subsect of fans that seemingly do not like this ship at all for various different odd reasons. Odd to me at the very least. For all I know, I'm the minority opinion on this. And you'll get all up in arms at me spouting off about how I'm a Hiccup and Astrid shill and how I like them, when in your view, the ship and story is objectively trash. So I guess we'll start with the first element that I've noticed people have an issue with when it comes to Hiccup and Astrid. They claim that the relationship and their dynamic is, well, toxic. The evidence they use? What do they cite for such claims? That Astrid is physically violent towards him from time to time. I don't particularly know what to say here other than I don't really think you should be able to equate what happens on screen here to domestic violence. Feels icky. Are we even watching the same movie? To me, when these moments appear, it's clearly meant to do two things. Establish Viking society on Berk as rough and tumble. I mean, their national pastime is hunting and killing dragons after all. And they seem to very much enjoy it. All of them. Shit, even Hiccup tries to get involved at first. Let's not forget that. It is not meant to simulate spousal violence and show that she's especially toxic compared to everybody else. The idea is that everybody on Berk is like this except for Hiccup. Literally every single one of them. Even Hiccup's mum is implied to have been rough around the edges. Remember her famous boob helmet. That was made from battle armor. Generally, if you have armor, you go into battle. Yes, she likes dragons, but I think she was also a tough warrior. Hiccup, not so much. That's the whole point. He's not an outcast for liking dragons and bonding with them. Don't forget, he is initially on board with trying to kill one to prove himself to his dad at the start of the movie. He's an outcast for being a pipsqueak and a weakling, and no other reason. So that being said, within the confines of their culture, she's not doing anything out of the norm. And I don't think his character views it that way either. Anytime she actually hits him, he looks more annoyed than anything else. Annoyed that she'd do that to him. He even offers for her to drag him back to town. It doesn't exactly sound peaceful if you ask me. On top of that, I feel like this pushes aside that he is more damaged by the emotional and social side of things, where he's the outcast in both his father's eyes and the eyes of the village at large. He's rejected by everybody, until Astrid takes notice that he's suddenly competent in class and follows him, which allows her to see what he's done. Does she reject him for this? No. She sees something different in him. She is the first Viking to see that goodness and compassion and not view it as weakness, but as strength. How can that be anything other than wholesome and beautiful? I'm sure there'll be some defenders saying, oh, just because she's done a good thing doesn't mean she's not abusive. And to that I'll just shake my head. You cannot equate what she is doing to literal domestic violence. The honest answer is that this is a film and franchise that was released in 2010. A girl punching a guy on the arm shortly after kissing him, that's an idea of flirting back then. Obviously nowadays you wouldn't really see that done. But once again, they're Vikings! A quick Google search will show that real-life Vikings did far worse than punching someone on the arm. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Volker used to set up crazy traps for Stoic to get physically attacked as a means for affection. They also tone it down in later films, specifically from there. And yet they continue to use physical gags against Hiccup all throughout. Remember when his daughter's dragon trap sends him flying? It's just slapstick humor. As our Lord and Savior Bandit Healer would say,
look, it's just monkeys singing songs, mate. Don't think too hard about it.
I really just can't agree that she's toxic or abusive or whatever you want to frame it as. It just doesn't fit. Sorry, it's a whack opinion. The other thing I've seen parroted around a little bit is that it came out of nowhere. As a bit of a fandom veteran by this point, I've seen this thrown around quite a lot for various different relationships across the years. Another famous one would be Ginny and Harry. For me though, this particular critique for this particular fandom has me scratching my head. I don't get it. You'd honestly have to be a media illiterate to think this. To think that the relationship came out of nowhere, or that Astrid's feelings for Hiccup came out of nowhere. Let's recap. Astrid is introduced right from the get-go as Hiccup's crush. That is obvious in the movie. Therefore, the concept of them getting together at some point over the course of the story should have been firmly implanted in your brain from that moment. He is the main character. There is rarely a movie where the main character does not succeed in their quest for a love interest. As for Astrid, she is initially jealous and suspicious, yes, but then she finds out Hiccup's secret and goes flying with him and sees him in a whole new light. There's just a whole lot more nuance where she's watching where he's going and has a particular interest in him. This is before he gets Chadley, by the way. He's still the loser back then. So there's obvious basis in interest in him even before their whole romantic flight scene. But let's argue, for argument's sake, that she had no interest in him whatsoever before that point. Has nobody ever been to high school before? If reality channels could document teenage romance ethically, they'd throw all the money at the wall to make that happen. I swear relationships stop and start and are filled with more drama than Love Island could ever dream of. Thoughts and feelings can change like you're flicking a switch. It's a very normal thing that you see play out in real life all the time, not to mention countless other examples in cinema. After knowing somebody for ages, something changes or clicks that spurs a romantic interest. And that is clearly what happens here. I don't understand how there are people out there that don't get that. Also, this isn't some random aha moment from something mundane. Hiccup takes Astrid on the most epic dragon flight imaginable. Pink fluffy clouds and shit. Honestly, if he took Snotlad on that flight, I reckon he'd fall in love with Hiccup too. From that argument, I feel like I've seen people argue that Astrid doesn't fall for the true Hiccup, because she only expresses romantic interest after the flight. I'm sorry, but did we miss the part where Hiccup becomes a social pariah because he has a pet dragon? What he is doing is considered extremely weak and soft and pathetic. In my opinion, she's already giving hints of interest before the flight. But after the fact, it just cements her love for him, because he's strong in his conviction. It's not about his physical strength or whether he can kill 1,000,000 dragons. It's his attitude and strength in standing up against his entire community for what he believes in. He shows that he's pure Viking, which is what she's all about. In my eyes, the relationship has good writing for countless reasons. But one element I think doesn't get nearly enough attention is that it's well-paced as well. They don't rush this thing. It takes the entire trilogy just for them to get married, and then a long time skip for them to have kids. I don't know, but I just like that, I guess. DreamWorks does that well. Shrek was the same, not in terms of marriage, but in terms of relationship growth. But since that was filled with such other drama, didn't quite live up to the heights as Hiccup and Astrid for me. Overall, I'm a Hiccup and Astrid stan. They start off in a very typical teenage fashion, they grow together, bounce off each other well, offer support when needed. One of the healthiest couples I can think of on screen, which is definitely saying something. But of course, these are all just my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What do you think of Hickstrid? Hickstrid. Are you a believer, or do you hold one of the opinions I've tried to debunk just now? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.